Between the inauguration of Donald Trump, uncertainty in the Middle East, Ukraine, and the South China Sea, and major political changes coming to South Korea and Canada, 2025 is set to be another dynamic year on the world stage. The Eurasia Group on Monday released its annual look at the top political risks of 2025. They include concerns about artificial intelligence, global trade, Iran, Russia, and what a second Trump administration could mean for world order. Bremmer co-authored the report. He's the founder and president of the Eurasia Group and G0 Media, and joins us now to go in depth on the top 3 global risks for 2025. So, Ian, let's start with number 3, a breakdown in the relationship between the U.S. and China. Trump invited Chinese President Xi Jinping to the inauguration. He's threatening, though, to increase tariffs on Chinese goods. So how do you see this relationship being tested, and what are the consequences of a breakdown?
Look, Trump is a deal maker. He has said that Xi Jinping is someone that he trusts, and he's a strong leader and a strong man. But that doesn't mean that he's about to cut a deal in his administration. He has much more support for higher levels of tariffs among the people that he's put in place. And he also has a much more hawkish group on issues of technology and national security. China, of course, is on the ropes. Their economy is doing very badly. That's why they're reaching out to India, Japan, the Europeans, trying to stabilize those relations. They don't expect they're going to get much done with the United States. So what we think is going to happen is a move towards a more active confrontation on trade, an active decoupling of the economic relations and trade relations between the two countries, and more tensions on the national security front. Probably not Taiwan, but everywhere else. This is the most important geopolitical relationship in the world, and it is right now looking to be experiencing much more significant decline in 2025.
An active decoupling. Okay, the number two is the risk that President-elect Trump will not face the same level of checks and balances he did during his first term. How will his second term look different, and what will it mean for American democracy long term?
Well, the most important thing in 2025, and the risk report does look just at the year, is that the U.S. is so much more powerful than a lot of both its allies and its adversaries. You mentioned in the opening, what we've seen with Canada, with South Korea, the German government, the French government in free fall. Well, I mean, if Trump is deciding that his unpredictability is a strength and he's willing to take shots at those countries, and by the way, so is Elon Musk, that unpredictability is uncertainty. It leads to risk. And you have governments around the world, both friends and adversaries of the U.S., that are in crisis mode right now because they don't know how to respond to Trump, and they can't find a way to get around him. So that rule of dawn, as we're calling it, as opposed to rule of law, is going to cause a lot of uncertainty and stress for the global marketplace and for international diplomacy in 2025. It will lead to a lot of wins for the United States. There's a good chance you'll get a ceasefire in Ukraine, for example. The Mexicans will look to find a deal with the U.S. Other countries will be much more challenged.
So this surprised me and producer Aaron. The number one risk is the risk of a G0 world, essentially a lack of global leadership. Why is that your number one concern, and what are potential ramifications?
Well, in a sense, all of the other risks in the report come from a lack of global leadership. I mean, Trump is not the driver of risk. He's a symptom of the fact that the United States is no longer interested, is not willing to be the world's policeman or the architect of global free trade, or even the promoter of common democratic values and rule of law. Well, if the Americans won't do that, and the Chinese can't do that, everyone else is playing defense. They're not popping their heads up and say, we'll be leaders. The Japanese, the South Koreans, the Brits, the Canadians, the French, they're all saying, I hope we aren't in the next Twitter post. So what you get is the opposite of a community of nations, despite the fact that so many of both our opportunities and challenges in the world today are global. Our responses are local. And that is, of course, the biggest risk for 2025.
I have less than a minute with you, but can you further explain that? Because we know that Donald Trump has campaigned on American first policies. Can you please further dive in to why more countries sort of not playing offense, playing defense is a global risk?
Yeah, because, I mean, America first is very different from the United States playing a global leadership role. And it will work in many ways for the United States. But, China's also China first. The French, the Brits, they're all going to try to be their own countries first. So we're moving away from common rules and norms and values towards the law of the jungle internationally, and that means the strong do what they will and the weak do what they must. That's a much more dangerous environment globally. It leads to a lot more conflict than we're used to over the last 35 years.
All right, Ian Bremmer, no doubt we'll have a lot of conversations this year. Thank you for your time.
Yes, my pleasure.